Hey.
Bert, I ain't gonna lie to you. I had a whole warm-up segment. There was a lot to talk about that we're probably not going to get to this week because a lot's happened in like the last 48 hours or so.
Uh-huh.
But I everything doesn't matter. Nothing matters anymore because today is a day for you to rejoice, my brother. Today is a day that's been a long time coming. And listen, I'm not. You don't want to see anybody lose their job, but I couldn't. I had the smile on my face when I read that Jason Garrett
Oh
has
yeah.
been relieved of his duties
Oh yeah.
from the New York Football Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely deserves one of these.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't think there was one Giant fan who was pumped for him when he became the OC, but
Right.
and we all know what this is as Giant fans and even football fans in general. This is a last ditch effort by the Giants organization to save Gettleman and
Mm-hmm.
even Joe Judge at this point. So for the dominoes are starting to fall. It's going to start with the offensive coordinator,
Right.
head coach next, and then ultimately general manager. And I honestly hope they clear house, including Danny Dimes. It's time, man.
Oh no,
Yeah,
don't do that to my
we can
guy.
absolutely get to it in the show, but yeah, I got that alert and I was like, okay, let's go. Let's now start the healing process uh, and see what they do.
Yeah, I like you said, I don't know any Giants fan that was not only pumped that Jason Garrett was there, but the fact that it just clearly wasn't working from the beginning should have been a sign. And there's a lot going on with the Giants. I don't think they should move on from Danny Dimes, and there's a couple reasons, and we can get into it after the jump. But uh, today, more importantly, Thanksgiving's in a couple days. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to do the Thanksgiving sides draft, the ultimate sides draft. I'm going to put your list versus mine. You wiped the floor with me when we did our cereal draft, so I've done a lot of studies. I have a whole big board here. I'm ready. I'm ready to come for blood, and then and since you won our cereal draft, you will get the first pick in the sides draft. So, who will Bert choose? Find out next.
Next. Sports.
Sports. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Stuff About Sports presented by the Give Us a Shot Network. I am Germ, and that is Bert playing hurt today.
Oof.
But he's a soldier and he's coming for blood. Today is a day. He was like, hey man, actually it was me. I was over this Buffalo Bills loss, buddy. I was definitely about to cancel this show. I was about to check myself into a facility. You guys probably wouldn't have heard from me for a couple days. Thankfully, we play on Thanksgiving, so we can hurry up and get over the loss. But
Yeah.
a couple things happened over the NFL weekend that helped me out. Specifically, the Titans losing, and then also Jason Garrett getting fired
Mm-hmm.
from the New York Football Giants job. Definitely something worth celebrating in the upper northeastern district.
I gotta be honest with you, and those that listen, no Germ's a firefighter, and he had a huge call. He went on Saturday into Sunday. So there were a lot of texts like, "Yo, is Germ okay?" Like, like text us, let us know if you're good. I saw Boss Man on Sunday for the 1 o'clock games, Mike from the Divide, and I said I didn't get to his house till probably closer to 2, and I was checking the scores on the way. Excuse me. And I said, "Yo, has anybody checked on Germ?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, no, he's fine. He definitely, he was out there firefighting, but he's good now." I was like, "No, I'm not talking about the fire," because I saw the
Yeah,
Bills
yeah, yeah,
score,
yeah, yeah,
and I
yeah,
was like,
yeah,
"Yo,
yeah.
somebody make sure your boy's all right. Like this is not okay for him." And that's when he sent that text, and I think your response was just like, I just can't right now."
The influx of emotion that was happening for me during that game, I and listen, I'm not panicking yet. The Bills, though, there's a couple things as Bills fans that I keep getting in arguments with. If you look at a combined record of all the teams that we've beaten this year, it's only 19-33, and we beat the Chiefs when they sucked, and now they're
Mhm.
7-4. So, you take away that, it doesn't look good for the Bills. But if you look at all the advanced metrics and the advanced stats, we're actually doing better in almost every category than we were last year. The only difference is that Josh Allen is throwing more interceptions. He's throwing he threw twice as many interceptions as he did all last year. He's already got that this year. And it's not good. So you can't really win games if you are turning the ball over, which will get us started. Week 11, most impressive, biggest disappointment. Bert, what you got?
I mean, obviously, biggest disappointment, we just spoke about it, for me, was the Bills in a game in which
Mm,
they should have won easily. By halftime, you knew they were not winning that game.
right.
But if we're gonna go with most impressive, I got to be honest with you. I'm very impressed with the Patriots right now. I really am. And Mac Jones is what he's been able to do. And I get it. They were going up against the Falcons, but they're what, 7-3, 7-4 now.
7-4. Yep.
7-4, leading the AFC East right now. So I mean, that is something that is an impressive feat, and that's something that, Bill Belichick is kind of back on his game, and coaching a young team, and I'm impressed overall.
Yeah, I wanted to pick. I did want to pick um the Bills, but the team I'm really most disappointed in is the Panthers. All that hoopla about Cam Newton coming back. Now, he did play well. I don't
Yeah,
think the loss was on him, but you know, a game like that against a Washington football team that hasn't been very good all year, uh, except my favorite this show's favorite quarterback, new quarterback, Taylor Heineke, the
yep,
Senator. I mean, it started off hot and then it kind of fizzled out for a while, and now, I mean, he's put together some impressive quarterbacking games, man, against the Buccaneers. This game,
yeah,
the defense still isn't there, but they did well enough. But the Panthers had the number 2 defense in the league, statistically, and they just let Taylor Heineke go out there and look like Mr. Unbeatable. Taylor, now Cam Newton he was 21 to 27 for 189 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like I said, he played well, but you look at the whole defense and the way that game was played. That for Cam Newton's first home game, that was a game you're supposed to win against the Washington football team. Ron Rivera coming back into town,
hmm,
and Taylor Heineke put it to him. I was most impressed with the Arizona Cardinals
yeah.
without
Without,
without Kyler Murray. They got the number 1 seed back in the NFC. They didn't have Kyler Murray or DeAndre Hopkins. And listen, when you think quarterback, and also I think he has the greatest name in all of sports. Say it with me, kids. Colt McCoy.
oh
Every
yeah,
time they said his name, I said, you know what? That is probably the most perfect quarterback name. When you hear the name Colt McCoy, it says quarterback. Like, that's what he should have always been. I don't
it
think there's
screams
anybody better.
gunslinger through and through.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
that
my
man's
God.
he's gonna throw or shoot something.
35 for 44, 328, 2 touchdowns. I
Yeah,
mean, unbelievable. And then Zach Ertz coming from Philly, and immediately contributing. He caught both of those touchdown passes for Arizona. So
yep,
shout out to Zach Ertz. But more impressively, they took out they took out the Seattle Seahawks,
yep.
held Russell Wilson only like 200 yards passing. That looks like a sinking ship, but
It is.
um, it's definitely a sinking ship. Seattle tried to make a game of it, but again, Colt McCoy, greatest name in sports, 67-yard drive to end the game. And so I was really impressed, like I said, and it's mostly because they're doing it with the backup. It's been impressive. They've been doing it, and they were missing their 2 best players. So shout out to the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Speaking. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, how about the Texans though? I mean, a
Yeah.
huge upset. And look, to your point, the Cards are back on top, best record in the NFC right now.
Mhm.
I think it's large in part to the officiating that happened during the Green Bay and Vikings game. But
For sure.
I will say, Green Bay was a disappointment for me, and a lot of people are going to sit here and agree with me about the officiating in itself, especially towards
Mhm.
the end of the game, because Green Bay had them, especially in the 2-minute drill. But when you don't put points on the board in the first half and you're playing catch up in the second half, that's where you're going to lose the game in itself. And as good as Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are, they did themselves a disservice, and they just kind of stalled, for the first 2 quarters. And yes, they caught up, and yes, they almost won. And people are going to scream like, "Oh, terrible officiating, terrible calling," and I get it. It was, but you know what? You could have done so much better in the first half in itself. And that's what I'll say about that. But the Texans absolutely upsetting the Titans, like, caught
Yeah.
me with my jaw on my floor. I absolutely could not believe what I was watching. We saw, excuse me, we saw a Titans team that looked amateurish, I'll
Yeah.
say, that couldn't produce any offense whatsoever. It was almost sad to watch. Stupid mental mistakes. I forget who it was that was receiving. He went to go receive the kickoff for the punt. He went to go
Mm.
defend the rush coming in. He turned his back to the ball. It hit him on the back of the leg.
Hmm.
Houston gets the ball back right away on like the 5. So just really, really amateur stuff going on for a team that's leading, you know, their division, and still, I mean, pretty handedly. I mean, they're 8-3. The only thing they have to worry about really is the Colts at 6-5, even catching up to them. But I mean, overall, I mean, when you take a look, I mean, still looks like they're pretty comfortable playoff contention wise.
Yeah,
But man,
yeah.
those are the types of games that you should win and secure yourself the playoff spot, and even vie for that bye as we get to the later half of the season too. So just really, really big disappointment with Tennessee.
Yeah, it's weird, and I was just thinking that, I don't watching these last couple weeks and this weekend specifically, but like me being a Bills fan, and we've just taken some brutal losses lately. But overall, Washington beating the Buccaneers, the Texans beating the Titans. Bert, I swear, I don't know who's good. It feels like we have probably like 5 or 6 awful, truly awful teams that you know what
Yeah,
you're going to get every week, and then everybody else is 500 because it doesn't matter. Like I don't know who's good. Like the Chiefs were dead in the water a few weeks ago, and now they look like who we all thought they were. The Buffalo
yeah,
Bills were going to walk to the Super Bowl, and now we're losing to the Jags and Carson Wentz. Well, not really Carson Wentz, Jonathan Taylor. It's just I don't know. I don't know. The Raiders started off. I mean, every year we ask, are the Raiders for real? And they always give it to us. And it's just 1 week at a time. I think in about 17 years, they'll just put together 17 good weeks of football where we can stop asking if the Raiders are for real because they never are. It just we need to
no,
stop it. Let them start 4-0, and everybody's going to be like, "Oh my God, it's this. This is it. This is the rate." Nope, nope, no,
no.
never. It'll never happen.
No, not in
Um,
the least bit. I and that is honestly a team that I root for too, to be good. And it just
mhm.
never turns out like that. They always, like you said, they get that quick start, and then it's a fizzle. It's really disappointing.
Steven Zuccari says Garrett is gone. Yeah, and you know what's funny about that also with Garrett leaving, that leaves Freddie Kitchens to make calls. Now,
Hmm.
obviously, Freddie Kitchens is famous for resurrecting and bringing back Baker Mayfield to the point where it parlayed him into taking over that team full time. Now, it didn't work out. It's just one of those things that it just doesn't work out. But
Yeah,
Baker Mayfield was having a really, really tough time, and Freddie Kitchens came in, and Baker Mayfield all of a sudden was who everybody wanted him to be, the number 1 overall pick. Played really well. I know there's some Giants fans out there that wish he can have that magic for Danny Dimes because I know people didn't like the draft pick at the time, but Daniel Jones has shown you flashes, and I think it's fair to not give him most of the blame. He started off this season really hot, and I think he still is statistically pretty good. I don't think he's fallen off. I think he's just, there's a couple of those weird games or weird possessions that he has that kind of you're like, but I like what he has. You have to look at potential sometimes, and maybe it's just the coaching, and we'll see with Freddie Kitchens if anything's any different with Danny Jones. You guys need to not draft anybody else other than offensive line. I'll tell you that right now.
I mean that's our
Uh,
problem through and through, year
right,
over year, right? I mean that was our problem
right.
even back when Eli was the quarterback. They just don't. They either don't make the moves in the offseason to get good offensive line, or they don't draft them. They've always, and then when they did, look, no one knew who the fuck Daniel Jones was when he was drafted.
Yeah,
No
for
one
sure.
did. And
Yeah,
Giants fans are sitting there going, What did we just do?" His
yeah.
first year out, had a decent outing, showed some promise. And as you mentioned, what you say, he showed some sizzle,
Flashes.
or some
Yeah, yeah,
flashes
yeah,
rather.
yeah,
That's great. But I mean, the Raiders, they show some flashes every now and then. I'm looking for consistency, but I'm looking for growth too, and he just hasn't shown that for me. He's not going to take the full blame from me. He's not the right quarterback for the way the team is built right now. Plain and simple.
yeah.
He needs support. You had that with Saquon when he's healthy. He's not always healthy. And neither is our receiving core. But even when he did have a healthy receiving core last year and the year prior, it wasn't outstanding numbers. We look at these guys like the Josh Allens, or even the Kyler Murrays and the guys that grow year over year, where people are, I mean, somewhat saying like, oh, I don't know if this is the guy, but shows promise. That was him year one. We're in year three now.
Yeah.
We need to see something more. We need to see something steady. We need to see him make good, smart football plays and good throws. And right now, he's doing neither.
Yeah, it's I put on Stuff About Sports Instagram at Stuff About Sports. Should the Giants move on from Danny Dimes, or is that fair or foul? And I mean, it's been a mixed reaction. And one answer from the Sports Scoop at the Sports Scoop says not this year, simply because there's no quarterbacks in college coming out worthwhile. And that's an interesting take. And some said, yeah, keep him. Daniel Jones has all the tools. He just needs proper coaching. It's weird because you can make either argument. I see what maybe Gettleman saw in Daniel Jones. I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's great. I think he's a step below Kirk Cousins. And I think he can be that type of quarterback. I don't think he's as good as Kirk Cousins can be. I don't think at his height of his powers, he's going to be as good as Kirk Cousins is, but he's that, like the Alex Smiths, the Kirk Cousins, those types of guys who can, Kirk Cousins went in there and beat Green Bay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He did that, and he doesn't, but that's not what he does. His team around him is pretty stacked. Because they built around him. They know what he can and cannot do. And they built the team for him. They gave him a great running game. And I actually put that second question, speaking of running game, is it time to call it what it is? Is Saquon Barkley a bust? They're not. He was brought in to move the needle and take them to the next level, and he hasn't done anything. He's done nothing but being hurt. And I know people have different definitions of bust. My definition is you're not getting your return on investment based on everything he was supposed to be coming out of college, how they hyped him up, what he was supposed to do for the Giants. He has not done any of that, not even close. So for me, he's a bust.
I don't know if I'd call him a bust. I think he's doing his job overall, right? His first year, let me see, 2018 on the season, 1,300. Year two, sophomore year, a little bit of a sophomore slump, 1,000 yards. Last year, obviously hurt. This year, facing some injuries too. So when you're not healthy, obviously you're not helping the team. And he isn't moving the needle, but he can't carry the entire team. And we know the most effective run games are the ones that are balanced, and they're the ones with the smarter quarterbacks who are able to, read the option, make those throws when need be, take the pressure off the backfield every now and then. And unfortunately, with the Giants, they gave him that workload year one and year two, and hoping that they can really balance it out as it went along. And it just never happened. And then you throw in the O-line there too, where they're not even creating space for him. He's not going to be able to go anywhere. It's just going to get completely sucked up. So I don't think it's time to move on from him, to be honest with you. But that's only because running backs in the NFL are very hard to, not that they're hard to come by, but solid ones are. But I mean, we're entering next year, year 5.
Yeah,
and we know shelf life on running backs are not the longest. But he could hop back from injury. I'd like to see one more solid, healthy year out of him. But if he does stay more injury prone, I think it is time to move on for sure.
Steve, he corrected it. Saquon is a bust. We can't pay him. Mike Powers says, I wouldn't call him a bust, but he is busty. Yeah, he got them big quads. Mike C on Instagram says he's definitely a bust. Clean house, Mara. Fire the talent evaluators. So, I mean, the Giants, Gettleman's the problem. And you let these coaches come in. Who was that doofus you had that ruined Eli's streak? What was that other guy you guys had? That looks like somebody stepped.
He looks like
McAdoo.
Yep.
Ben McAdoo looks like somebody's brand new stepfather. Like he just looks like what a stepfather looks like. That's him. His slick back hair, his goofy giant red suit, and his stupid mustache. Yeah. Jeez, man. He looks like a card shark. He looks like a bartender. He looks like stepfatherhood. Everything, all those
car salesman.
A used car salesman out in the middle. He looks like a jacuzzi salesman in the middle of the desert. That's what he looks like. Just sits there. Oh, dude, Ben McAdoo. Jeez, I would whatever. I wonder what that guy's doing. Ben McAdoo, call up the show. Hit us
Yeah,
up. We would like to interview you because I have so many questions.
sitting at home combing his mustache.
Probably. We talked a little bit earlier, Bert, but which team do you think at this point in the season, week 12 we're heading into, it's getting down to the wire. Which team do you think needs to hit the panic button?
I don't know about panic button,
Mhm,
but a panic conversation needs to happen in Buffalo
mhm.
about the losses that they are taking and the games that they're not showing up for.
Yeah.
And I mean, you said it. You know, you're obviously you're going in against teams and losing in games that you obviously shouldn't be losing, and they're not producing offense in those games, and the defense isn't showing up. It's like the entire team decided, hey, you know what? Let's just take this Sunday off. It really doesn't matter. So I think certainly they should be worried about what is going on if they want to make the appropriate moves in advance of the playoffs.
Mike says Otis Anderson said Ben McAdoo looks like an assistant manager at Radio Shack for
Oh my
100%.
god, he does.
100%. Um, I I was very tempted to say the Buffalo Bills as well, but at the end of the day, I think we're going to be all right because everything is cemented, right? Josh Allen's going to be there. Sean McDermott's going to be there. Our skill, Stephon Diggs, our defensive mainstays are going to be there. At the end of the day, we're 6-4. We're only a game out of the division, and we still have to play the Pats twice. And I just trust our roster. I can't panic. Yeah, the losses are bad, but at the end of the day, we can easily maybe like I already had us at the beginning of the season being a 4-loss team overall, and maybe we'll pick up a loss or two, but I still think we easily can win the division. We have the best division record right now. We're undefeated in the division. Granted, we played the Dolphins and the Jets, but we got the Pats twice.
Yeah,
um Math is math, and it works out in our favor, and I don't think if we have a lot of winnable games left. And I think sometimes these teams need to take these embarrassing losses to kind of wake up, and maybe that's Buffalo. Maybe like all the number one in the power rankings and the Super Bowl odds like kind of get to you. You know what I mean? So I think we've been underdogs this entire time, and now we've arrived. I think adjusting to that, maybe a couple losses will do. That was a long explanation for saying why I wasn't picking the Buffalo Bills, but I said all that to say that they'll be fine.
mhm.
Who's not going to be fine is the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh no, they're down. They're down bad.
They're down. It's again, Josh Allen is not going anywhere in Buffalo. There is a real possibility that Russell Wilson will be leaving Seattle next year.
Yeah,
And if Russ leaves, that's it. I don't know what Pete Carroll's going to do. Is it just me, or is Pete Carroll's gum chewing like he's always chewed gum the same,
aggressive.
but when they win, it's like cool. It's like, wow, he's really into the game. Now he
Yeah,
looks super nervous. It's like for me, it's like a nervous gum chewing, even though he's
yeah.
not chewing any differently than he is. It's just for me, it just looks more panicky. And I mean, to me, like that's they made Colt McCoy, again, best name in sports, look like a Hall of Famer the other day.
Mhm.
I mean, it's that defense that we called them the Legion of Boom.
Yeah.
Granted, I know all the players aren't there anymore, but that team was known for its ferocious defense, and Colt McCoy is just slinging it all over the place.
Mhm.
And Russ was already flirting. The team is not going anywhere. They don't have anything worthwhile. I don't see. DK Metcalf is looking like the next diva receiver. Everything in that organization is chaotic, and now they're losing bad on top of it. So I
Yeah.
just don't see.
So
Cowboys
I'm
need to
I'm
smash the.
glad Steven just mentioned this because they were going to be my next.
Mm,
They should hit the panic button, especially after this weekend too, and proving that when Dak has no weapons, Dak isn't Dak. And I get some of you may be screaming like, "Yo, no shit if he doesn't have weapons." But you know what? You look at the Aaron Rodgers or the Drew Breeses or even the Tom Brady's, these guys that can make names for even practice squad players or third or fourth string guys that are coming up. But man, you look at the Cowboys did this past weekend, and you're sitting there thinking like, listen, I know you have. I don't want to say it's not definitely not a tough schedule by any means. They got the Raiders, Saints, they got Washington twice, and the Giants and the Cards. But let me tell you something. If Washington takes one or even two of those games, it could certainly be a shootout for that division in itself. But they need to make a hard hit the button, take a hard look at themselves, and figure out what's going to happen. When your two receivers are out, what the hell are we doing here? How can we still be the Cowboys at that? You're looking at a week, 2 weeks before this high-powered offense, and then this past weekend, absolutely nothing.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of teams that probably could hit it. The Titans, they brought in Adrian Peterson. They already released him. Hopefully, there's a chance that Derrick Henry can be back in time for the playoffs. Like you said, they
Mhm.
have a pretty good lead, but the Raiders definitely a candidate for hitting the panic button. Everything, but their season, I think, is just it's. I think people don't blame them for the amount of stuff that they had to deal with. Their season kind of got derailed, and I just think that it's unfortunate because they started off so well, and I think just that's too much to deal with in the locker room, and then to just go out there and ignore it and just leave it on the field. It doesn't work like I know it works like that in the movies, but it typically doesn't work like that in
Nah,
real
not here.
life.
Yeah, I mean, everyone else. I got to be honest with you. I mean, the Vikings, even though what they just did was impressive, and they're getting back to a 500, they could potentially claw their way up. I honestly don't foresee it happening. Same thing with the Saints too. I think it is what it is. And then you have your bottom feeders, right? Like the Falcons, obviously the Lions, the
Mhm.
Seahawks are there too, as you mentioned. That yeah, the Seahawks should hit the button because talk about a well-established franchise that's now basically going to be in pieces, but
Yeah.
everything else just seems par for the course.
Yeah, the teams like the Lions and the Falcons and these, the Jaguars. I don't,
Yeah.
those earlier in the show I said there's probably like 5 or 6 like truly awful teams, and then there's nothing to panic about them. A lot of those guys are rebuilding, and this is just what happens. This is part of the rebuilding process for them. Thanksgiving's coming up in a couple days, Bert. So we have a
Oh
couple
yeah.
Thanksgiving Day NFL games. I am a big fan of the third. I know a lot of NFL players don't like the Thursday game. I'm not a fan of Thursday games, but I do love the Thanksgiving Thursday game. I would actually prefer that they take Thursday games away and just
Yeah.
have more games on Thursday on Thanksgiving. I know that would suck for the players, but I think that it would make it more special, so it wouldn't be as bad. Maybe add another game or two to
Hmm.
the Thursday lineup and just make it an all day from like 9 a.m. to you know what I mean
Yeah.
till nighttime. I would be a big fan of that. I don't know how the players would feel, but we have 3 games. We have the Lions. We have or no, I'm sorry. We have the Bears
Yep.
at
Bears
the
Lions.
Lions.
Hmm.
We have the Raiders at the Cowboys, and we have the Bills at the Saints. So, Bert, give me your prediction.
I'm taking I'm taking the Raiders over the Cowboys, and
Okay.
I'm taking the Bills over the Saints. Is a good bounce back, like you said.
Hmm.
I am taking the Lions over the Bears. I
Yes.
am.
Hey, hold
I
on.
think
Yeah.
I think in what they've showed us the past 2 weeks, now
Hmm.
like this is going to be their time. And the Bears,
Yeah.
not a great team, not a bad team. Um, I just think it's look, the Lions are home. It's going to be the magic of Thanksgiving. This is going to be the only win they have on the season, um, and it's just going to happen. I have that gut feeling.
Yeah. So we agree on 2 of them. Obviously, I'm picking the Bills to beat the Saints. If the Bills can't beat Taysom Hill and or Trevor Simeon, Bert, you might see me burn all my Bills gear on Thanksgiving. It might be a
You
bloodbath in
got a
this
lot
house.
of Bills gear.
I do. Now, the Bills probably should beat this. This is the game that actually would help the Bills. It helps you. You get a win, prime time. It's the night game. It's the last game of Thanksgiving. Josh Allen actually arrived in this same game against the Dallas Cowboys 2 years ago,
Hmm.
where he went in there and they demolished it. And I think that having that win will course correct the Buffalo Bills again. That'll put them back 7-4, 7-5, whatever they are. And then yeah, they'd be seven
Yeah,
and four.
same thought. Yeah.
And then the Titans play the Patriots, and the Patriots can lose that game. The Titans aren't a bad team, and then the Bills will be right back on top, and then we go into the 2 games with the Patriots. So I am picking the Bills at the Saints. It's in the dome. I think that's just what the doctor ordered. I am too, Bert, riding with Dan Campbell, man Campbell.
Yeah.
It's got to happen.
Yeah.
And what a story it would be if it happened on Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Dan Campbell, I have a few Detroit friends, Lions fans friends. Uh, it's not split. It's splitish, and it's leaning more towards people who like Dan Campbell. They're rebuilding. It's you just have to understand that. But the Lions have been so awful that it's like at least they're competitive. That's the thing. Like that's literally the one thing that you need. The team still usually when the Lions they usually check out by Thanksgiving, right? Like
Oh
they just
yeah, yeah,
but they're playing hard as hell and they're in these close ass games. They're just not talented enough to win them. And I think you'll get some key free agents that are now willing to go to Detroit. I think Dan Campbell can scout some talent for the draft. Again, the 3-year rule for me. You got to give this guy 3 years to fix this thing. The
yeah.
Detroit Lions have been bad our entire lives.
Hmm.
It's going to take more than a year or two to kind of get it going. And I think the thing you have to have more importantly is stabilization. You can't keep switching coaches every 2 years,
Yeah.
or you end up like Detroit and you end up like Jacksonville and things of that nature.
Although I
So
will
I am
say, I mean, the move for Matt Patricia was a good one to make, and I think he was only there for 2 years.
no, yeah, like but again, that team checked out. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Like Matt Patricia kind of reminds me of Joe Judge. It's okay to lose if you're building the right culture, but if you're going to come in there and be Tommy Toughnuts all the time and talk shit to everybody, it's like it's never going to work.
yeah.
But Dan Campbell inspires people. I would run through the wall for the guy, and I think that resonates with the city. And I think Detroit reminds me a lot of Philly. It's a tough city, and people they want to see you work and they want to see you try. And Dan Campbell gives a damn. And I think the
Cries
players.
during press conferences.
Man, and he wants a lion. He wants a real lion at the practice. I mean, what else could you? Shout out to Dan Campbell. And then I'm actually choosing the Cowboys over the Raiders. I think just the Cowboys also need a bounce back game. It's Thanksgiving. It's a Thanksgiving tradition, and they're at home. And I think that would,
yeah.
and I think that was the real kind of for me what kind of gave them the edge on that. All right, Bert.
Yep.
Quick NBA.
Yeah.
LeBron James getting protected by the NBA yet again. Okay. This guy viciously, violently, and recklessly trying to end some kid's career. The NBA gives him 1 game suspension for his thuggery.
For an
I put it on
elbow.
for a vicious elbow, and people say it was the closed fist hand that got him. I'm trying to pull up the because I put it on a poll. Is the NBA trying to protect an overwhelming Bert, 94% of the people, and we have about 50 votes on this thing, say yes. The NBA was protecting LeBron James.
Yeah. I mean, look, you watch the replay. The elbow was vicious. It was bad, and there's no way
he swung it. Yeah,
he did, and there's no way. I was just like, as many years as he's been playing in the NBA, and obviously you have control of your own body. He knew what he was doing.
100%. I don't think he was aiming for this eye socket.
Yeah,
I think he was throwing the elbow on purpose, and it was going to hit wherever it hit. And I don't think he was aiming for his eye, but his intent. It doesn't matter. Your intention was to throw a fast elbow or a fast arm. He cocked it back.
But when you turn around, you're like, whoa, it's like, yo, you knew what you were doing. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
So the Lakers are in shambles. I think they're like the number 8 seed, barely making the playoffs. The West is tough. It's going to get tougher. It's early, but Klay Thompson's coming, and I mean, I would buy the it's early if they were like the 4, 5, 6 seed. But when you're barely hanging on to an 8th seed with that super stacked squad that you come in, Russell Westbrook, it's not working. I know LeBron's been out, but even when he was there, it just wasn't working. And the West is just tough, man. The Phoenix Suns are not going nowhere. Klay Thompson is going to be back in a few weeks. And by God, it's going to be awful for the NBA because the Warriors are already the number 1 seed and they're probably the best team in the NBA. And then you're going to get Klay Thompson back, who is back with a vengeance, snubbed from the NBA All 75 list. I mean, he's coming in with an afro and a headband and evil intentions. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see Klay Thompson back. And so I put it out on social. LeBron will win 0.5 more titles before he retires. So basically, he's not going to win another one, or he'll win at least one more. Yeah. Bert, what say you, over or under?
I'm going to take the over. I think he'll win one more, and that's because no matter where he goes, everybody's just like, oh, he'll never win one more. Like, he got one with Miami, and they're like, oh, I don't know if they're going to repeat. Guess what they did? He goes to Cleveland, like, oh, he's never going to win one there. He won one there. Goes to LA. Oh, yeah, no matter who you put around him, it's super team, I guess, never going to win one. Wins one there. So, I mean, I'm always going to do over on him. It just he's defying odds, just like Tom Brady is in the NFL. So I'm done. I'm done hating. When at least when it comes to winning and shit like this, when you have stupid shit like the elbow, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? But for this, man, I'm taking the over.
I am going to take the under.
Shocking.
Shocking. And it really has less to do with what the Lakers are doing. And just like I said, I think just the talent pool. I think the NBA, this is probably the toughest year of competition he's had in the West and in the East. Everything's starting to even out. Put it on the Facebook page. 81% of the people have taken the under, and there's about 30-something votes on that. And that's a relatively new poll. So a lot of people don't like LeBron. Actually, on our Instagram, it's a lot more favorable towards LeBron. They think that they're going to not. Somebody said he's going to win one more and that's it. He's not going to win this year. He'll win in the last year of his contract, and then he's going to go sign with the team that his son gets drafted to. And we predicted that too. That he has 2 years left on his contract. He'll ride this one out. He'll play next year, and then Bronny in 2024 will be able to be drafted, and he will go sign 1-year deal with that team and get that little accomplishment under his belt. So yeah, we'll see. I just, like I said, I don't think he's resorting to thuggery. So that's like the first step of a true decline. And
oh my God.
We'll, all right, Bert, what everybody came for.
Oh, absolutely.
This is the big. All right, we're gonna go 5 rounds. Okay.
Oh, 5. Yikes.
Yeah.
All right.
This has got to be real to create a easy list. I'm gonna keep track.
Yep.
And Bert, you have the number 1 pick. You go ahead.
All right. I had to put a lot of thought into this, but it's one of my favorites, and I'm going with it. I'm going with stuffing.
That's a good choice. Stuffing is,
and I'm not talking that dry ass out of the box stuffing. I want in the bird, moist, thick ass stuffing. You want to get creative with it? Throw some like some apples, some sausage in there too. Make it up nice, make it up fancy. But that is, oh man, you get that right with a little bit of gravy on it, nothing better.
And it's funny, Bert, because that would have been my number 1 choice as well. I had a feeling you were going to go there. Stuffing is probably the most versatile of the Thanksgiving sides because you just said it. You could throw some gravy on there and keep it real savory. You could throw some apples or some cranberry sauce on there and keep it sweet. It could be a dessert-ish type thing. It can be stuffed into turkey. You can have it dry. You can have it without anything. It's just, I mean, it's the perfect, and not even talking about Thanksgiving leftovers. It literally makes that day after Thanksgiving turkey sandwich medley all come together. So stuffing is probably the number 1 on the big board of all sides. Bert, so you went with stuffing, and I'm actually also going to go with another carbohydrate, and I think it has to be on every plate because it slops everything up nice and together, and it tastes good on everything, and that's a nice buttery dinner roll.
Ooh.
That nice soft, and I don't know if I'm cheating, but like when I mean dinner roll, I mean like it could be like the crescent roll or the actual the soft big buttery dinner roll, but the dinner roll is definitely a must-have on every Thanksgiving plate.
Oh man, that's a good one. All right, I'm kind of keeping it in that same category though. I don't know if a lot of people do this, but we do. I'm going with some cornbread.
Whoa, okay.
I want that sweetness. I want that similar to the dinner roll. I mean, you can use it to slop some stuff up, but it's kind of like a mini dessert on your plate because you get that sweetness of the cornbread in there, and it just pulls everything together. Put a little bit of warm butter on there. Really, really completes it.
Stuffing and cornbread. That's tough. All right, I try to round mine out, so I didn't want too many bread items on there. I try to make the ultimate plate, and I guess I'm still technically picking a carbohydrate, even though it's not a bread. But I'm gonna go with baked macaroni and cheese.
Ooh, oh yeah.
Now, it has to be baked. I don't want any of that easy craft oven bullshit, soupy bullshit. Like the cheese can't. I don't want oozing cheese. It has to be. It's everybody knows what it is. A nice crust on top of it. On top of it,
like oof. Oh, did you like little breadcrumbs on top too?
Or? That's the bread in the mac, in the cheese all together. held together, and it's just a good layer, like a cake. It's almost like a cake. So baked mac and cheese is my number 2 pick.
Damn, that's good. All right.
I'm coming for blood this year.
I
I
know
went
you
out
are. That's good.
I went out
Yeah.
real sorry on the on the cereal draft, so I had to go hard.
Time to go with the starches now too. I know a lot
Mm-hmm.
of you thinking like, yeah, what's better than mashed potatoes? Oh no. I
Mm.
don't want mashed potatoes. I want them sweet ass candied yams with the marshmallows on top.
Oh,
You get in there, what's
dang.
that? It's a potato with the vitamins in
Yeah.
it. Plus I get to add marshmallows to it and be just
Yeah.
fat and disgusting all day. Yeah, sign me up. So that's what I'm going with. You can either call it sweet potatoes or candied yams. I don't care. As long as
Mm-hmm.
you put the marshmallows on it, good to
Yeah,
go.
for sure. For sure. That was actually I thought I could hold on to it. I didn't. I felt like it was too early to use my second overall pick on there. But I felt like it had to be on the plate. I mean, I don't like marshmallows, but for some reason I make sure
Ooh.
they're all over my
You get them
candied
baked
yams.
in. They get that nice, that almost like that shell crunchiness where you bite into it and
Yeah,
it's still kind of gooey in there. It's
yeah.
nice.
All right, Bert. Damn. Okay. So I might have to move some things up on my big. I'm looking at my big board. I'm trying to cross things out as I'm looking at it. I'm checking with my statisticians, and I felt like I have to move this up, even though I probably shouldn't use a third round pick. But I have a feeling that it'll go sooner than later. So I'm going to move up in the draft, and I'm going to go ahead and take green bean casserole.
Ah. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Green bean casserole, a little bit of almonds on there, the cheese on there, everything you
Yeah.
need on there. I like mine. I like the little sweet and saltiness of it. I'm a big fan of green beans, steamed green beans, and all that other stuff. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with green bean
No,
casserole.
that's a good one. Sometimes you put like those crunchy little onions on top too.
Yep,
It's just
yep,
all,
yep.
oh man, all works
That's how we
together.
do it at our. That's how we do it at our house.
All right. This is a tough decision.
Hmm.
I think I'm gonna have to go people pleaser. Now, I'm not a fan of this side.
Okay.
I'm doing it for the listener. I'm doing it for the people right now.
Yeah, I feel you.
Cranberry sauce.
Oh no. So for the record, Bert,
Yeah.
you are saying you're not doing the cranberry jelly. You're doing like the actual thick filling cranberry sauce, because there is a
Yeah.
difference.
There is a difference, and I don't like either of them. I find it
Okay.
disgusting, but
Yeah.
I do know the people love it, and I want that
Yeah.
cranberry sauce. I don't want the stuff out of the can that keeps its form
Okay.
impressive,
Yeah.
but no,
Yeah.
I want that nice little sauce.
Okay. So we're on the same page. I do enjoy the jelly, the canned jelly, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't like, again, that would be something, because I usually take a slice or two and I mash it into the stuffing, and it's
Yeah.
perfect for the post Thanksgiving sandwich, because you could just slice it up. But you're right, on the table, you have to have the bowl of actual cranberry sauce.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, a nice healthy scoop of that on some buttery salted mashed potatoes
Ooh.
is definitely
Underrated.
try. If you have some of that, definitely try it on your Thanksgiving plate. All right, Bert. This is probably the only reach I'm going to have on this in this draft, but I have it on my plate every year. I love them. I know this is not a popular vegetable. It may be with the CrossFit crowd, but a lot of CrossFitters eat this, but I love them. My wife makes them really good, and I'm going to go with roasted Brussels sprouts.
Wow. Okay. I love
They,
Brussels sprouts. We don't usually do it for
yeah,
Thanksgiving, but you cook them right, and you
yeah.
got some goodness on your hand right there.
I mean, she puts, now again, I don't eat pork, so she she'll throw pieces of turkey bacon, like the uncured, like the thicker ones, and some onions on it. Oh man, salt and pepper. Oh my god, and some garlic.
Yeah.
It's so good. And so she hooks it up. But yeah, roasted Brussels sprouts, not steamed, not when they're slimy. They're nice and crunchy.
Yeah.
She cuts them in half, and they're, you got a little texture to it.
Yeah, you need you need that crunch to it. You can't do that
it's
like
really good.
steam this. No, then it tastes like farts. It's just not good. You need
Yeah,
you do, and you
yeah.
need something else on there. You need the onions, you need the turkey bacon, or some people add regular bacon. We
Regular
use like
bacon,
Parmesan
yeah.
cheese sometimes because you need a little bit of flavor in there too.
For sure.
All right. You're going for healthy. You've got 2 vegetables on your list. I'm going with no vegetables on my list, to be completely honest with you. And I'm going for my 5th and final pick. I'm going complete fatness, and I'm talking about mashed potatoes. It's happening.
Oh,
It's
it
there,
had
and
to be on.
I want creamy ass mashed potatoes. I'm talking like super mashed with either a shit ton of butter in there. Some people that will
Yeah,
mix in a little sour cream, and just make it this thick, fluffy mashed potato. Something that you just bury your bird in, and I'm talking about the
yeah,
turkey here, guys. You bury the
yeah.
turkey in, and you put gravy all on it, and you just completely just mouthful of just everything, and again, just go into a food coma, watch football for the rest of the day, and fall asleep.
Yeah, man, that's a good pick. It did not make my list,
Ooh,
be, because typically, well, one, I figured it would be one of your first picks, and I
yeah.
definitely had to come correct with the dinner roll. I honestly didn't expect cornbread. I expected mashed potatoes or some type of potato starch to be there, but my fifth and final pick, man, there's like three that I'm really,
Ooh,
but I'm trying to separate what I think the people would like
yeah.
versus my own personal
You gotta do
taste.
one for the people.
And I think this, I mean, it has to be on there. It has to be on, on everybody's Thanksgiving, because now I may catch a lot of flack for this. I'll admit I thought about putting collard greens on there, but I understand that's more of a cultural thing. I know not a lot of people like collard greens. I'm not a huge fan of them. I don't. It's typically only something like, it's like walnuts, like things I only eat like once a
Yeah.
year. Like I only eat walnuts around Christmas time. I don't know
Hmm.
why. It's just, I don't eat collards ever. It's literally just a Thanksgiving thing. But I'm not going to do collards or cabbage. I'm going to do grilled corn on the cob.
Ooh. Oh
I
man,
think,
I completely forgot about corn.
yeah. So definitely not creamed corn like some of you peasants out there are still putting on Thanksgiving dinner tables. Uh, I mean, creamed corn is never to touch the Thanksgiving table that I sit upon. Uh, we make money now. Okay, there's no need to have creamed corn. There's no need to anybody out there listening. Stop it. Enough cream corn. That is, we're not in middle school doing
Yeah.
can drives and are giving them out like on Friday before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
No,
Stop denting the
enough.
can in the store so you get
S-
like
s-
2 cents off of it. Just no, just
Yeah,
knock it
no,
off.
it's creamed corn. Like it's not that. It's never been that good. It's not that good. It's gross. It's peasant food. Stop eating it. So, Bert, to recap,
Yeah.
you went with stuffing, cornbread, candied yams,
Yeah.
cranberry sauce, the
Oh
real
yeah.
cranberry sauce, mashed potatoes. Now, I was going to ask you, your mashed potatoes. It's like you said, the nice thick with the skin on there too, right? Like
Oh
everything.
yeah. Everything's mixed in, but
Okay,
it's nice. But
my
it's
man.
mixed well, so that not lumpy. I want that nice, just smooth, kind of
I
fluffy
gotcha.
mashed potatoes. Yeah.
We're on the same page. I went with buttery dinner rolls, baked mac and cheese, green bean casserole, roasted Brussels sprouts, and corn on the cob. We will put this on social,
Yeah.
and you guys will vote, and we will have some results here, and we'll see what's what.
Anybody chiming
All right.
in with theirs or no?
No, nobody chimed in
All right.
with theirs. Well, Mike said mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Definitely mac and cheese is a big favorite. John from the 3 episode podcast said green bean casserole is his absolute favorite. So shout out to John in the 3 episode podcast, guys. Yeah, I haven't had it much. We had it, we did a fire department township giant, everybody, it was like a potluck of Thanksgiving food, like a pre-Thanksgiving dinner. And somebody had brought in a green bean casserole, and it was my first experience with it. And I said, wow, this is delicious.
Mhm.
And I'm going to try to make it. And he did what you did. He had onions. Now his was cold,
Oh.
but it was more like a salad type thing, but it was like pickled red onion, almonds,
Oh.
and the green beans with like salt, pepper, and garlic. It was delicious, man. But he said you can make it hot. It's just he wanted the pickled onions in there. Plus, obviously, he was bringing it to a potluck, so he didn't feel like
Yeah. You
heating it
wanted to
up.
like heat it.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, and he's like, typically I would fry onions and put it on there and add some other things to it. So I was like, man, this is crazy. The divide will mock this draft. All right, you can go ahead and mock it, but you know what you
Yeah.
guys did? You mocked the cereal draft. And what did you guys do? You guys picked your own cereal. So you weren't really mocking it. You were
Yeah.
following in greatness footsteps. Okay. All right. Steve, sports bet Steve went 2-1 in the, I believe, 16-5. I had it written down
Hmm.
for the season. Yep, 16-5 for the season. Uh, the Jets plus 7.5. We disappeared for a second.
You were lagging a little bit. Your screen's frozen. I can hear you though. No, I can't.
Things.
What? There you go.
Connection. There we go. All right. I don't know what's happening, but
You're back, man. You're back. We're good. We were.
Are we good now?
Yeah, we are. Well, I can hear you. Video's catching up.
He said we're back though.
Okay, I think we're good.
All right, we're good. Anyway, so and then he picked the Titans, who lost to the Texans outright. So we Thanksgiving game plus 3.5 again at the Bears. He's picking the Saints to cover. He doesn't think the Saints will win. He thinks the Saints will cover. He thinks the Bills will. He likes them. No, actually, no. He texted me. He said that he wants the.
Yeah, Jerm. I don't know if you hear me, dude. You're lagging. You froze again. Oh, you're back. So we were talking about the Saints. He said he texted you and he said the Saints what?
He first he said the Saints were just going to cover, but now he's saying the Saints are going to win outright. Yeah, no, I like the Saints. So he thinks the Saints are going to win outright. Whatever, man. I can't wait to call you after that game and make fun of you for picking against my Buffalo Bills. And then he's picking the Pats -6 over the Titans. And so I'm hoping that the Titans actually win that game because I need them so we can win the division. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he said, no, I like the Saints. Yep. Yeah, because you hate the Bills. You hate everything Buffalo. It's okay. Buffalo Bills will be back after Thanksgiving, and all will be right in the world. So we'll see. I'm rooting for the Lions to win 100%, and hopefully we'll get some cool results there. All right, Bert. It is bucket of doom time.
I want us to have full Thanksgiving games and just get it out of the way.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Mike, he made it interesting for a while, and then he's dipped. He's 4-7, the low man on the totem pole.
Sucker.
After the Cowboys lost. Ty had the Lions. He knew that was an L. He's 5-6. Mm-hmm. I had the automatic win, so I'm 6-5. I had the Rams. Corey is now 7-3. Unbelievable. He had the Buccaneers, and you had the Patriots. So you are now sitting at 6-5. Steve says Bills are 0-5 versus the Saints since like 98. The times are changing. Brandon DeWitt says Drum's connection is like the Bill season so far. Good, bad, good, bad.
Nice, Brandon. That was awesome.
Very good. Very good. All right, bucket of doom time. I got it right here. We are going to pick. We'll pick for the guys not here. Mike is listening, so if he can hit the group chat and let the guys know what they get. We'll pick for Corey. Corey has the Saints, who are playing the Bills.
There we go.
So we'll see. Mike, you have the Bills.
So here we go.
Here we go already. And Ty has the Washington racial slur. I mean, not the racial slurs. I'm sorry. We got to stop calling them that. Washington football team.
Football team.
Yeah.
Which they have the Seahawks on Monday.
Ooh, Monday night game. So Ty has the Seahawks. I mean, the Washington football team.
Yep.
Mike pulled the Bills and Corey pulled the Saints. So if we can hit the group chat, Mike, if you're still listening, maybe we should just do it on our own.
Yeah.
And see if you could do that, Bert, and we'll try to get everybody settled here. And in the meantime, I will pick for us. The Texans. This was for me. I don't know if I want the Texans.
I don't know if you want them. Well, they got the Jets. It's a shootout.
Joe Flacco. You know what, Bert? Yeah, I'm.
Oh man, I don't know.
There's so many awful things in this godforsaken bucket, and I keep getting bit. I keep getting bit by the redraw.
I don't know. The problem is the shitty teams that are in the bucket are all playing each other. Like you got the Falcons and the Jags.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Dolphins are doing. They got the Panthers.
Man.
I know the Jets played decent against the Dolphins. That's why I'm on the fence with it. But your pick, man.
You know, I believe I got to ride with my guy, T-Mobile, Tyrod Taylor. He's back. He's healthy.
Okay.
He ended the Buffalo Bills 17-year-old playoff drought. I'm going to ride with the Texans. I think I'm going to
Okay.
ride. I think I'm going to stick with the Texans.
All
All
right.
right. Mike says he's keeping the Bills. So, Bert, this is for you. The Rams.
Ooh, Rams. They have the Packers.
Whew, yikes. The Chiefs and the Cards are the only two teams on a bye.
I'm gonna buy this week. Yeah, you know what? Throw it back. I'm gonna take my chances.
Take your chances. Okay. There we go. All right, here we go, Bert. Whew. The Chicago Bears.
All right, now I'm conflicted.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna watch that game, but I'm not gonna like it.
Bears and Lions. Oh,
well, I want the Lions to win, but now I need the Bears to.
Yeah,
so.
I do. All right, hey, we're switching it up.
Yeah.
Let's see. Did Mike says he's keeping it? Did anybody else respond?
No one else responded. So.
Okay.
Oh well.
All right. Well, listen. Let's see. Well, you guys only have literally one more segment, and then if not, then guess what? You're gonna keep your team.
Yep.
All right, Bert. Who gets your game ball this week?
I totally forgot to pick a game ball. But what I am going to do is sit here and not give the game ball to Marty Brodeur, who apparently had huge influence on designing the new Devils jersey, which is absolutely trash.
You don't like it?
No. I know you like it, don't you?
I like it. I do. I'm a fan of simplicity. It's different.
Yeah.
I like it. I do.
It
like
is simple. It's just in my head, like their design that they have now has been so iconic. They basically kept the same emblem and just changed up the coloring over the years. The jersey, like New Jersey Devils, you could have did something so much cooler as an alternate aside from just jersey on the front of the sweater.
Yeah,
I like the black uniforms. I do. But man, no, I wish they did something a little bit more creative. And it is getting completely trashed on Twitter.
I believe
yeah.
it. I do believe it. And I know my sense of style is not the greatest. I'm pretty simple and plain, but something about like I'm very proud of being from New Jersey. So just having Jersey big stamp, but you are right. Like you're the New Jersey Devils. Like there should have been probably something a little bit more cooler, you know what I mean, out of the box for a team like that. I think they probably missed the boat. I do like the fact that is their first alternate, and maybe there's some solace in the fact that now that you've gotten the first alternate out the way, you guys typically have been a tradition, not you guys, but I know you're a Rangers fan, but like the Jersey Devils have been typically a traditional, hey, this is our one look and we're going to stick with it. It's an iconic look, as you said, but now that they're tipping dipping their toes in the alternate jersey water, maybe we'll get a better second alternate jersey next year. So shout out to the Devils. I like him, but obviously, I'm weird. So I am going to give mine to Philadelphia 76ers point guard, the point guard who was promised, Tyrese Maxey. Bert, here's a little stat for you. Players averaging 18 plus points per game, 4 plus assists per game, and shooting shooting percentage over 60% this season. Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Jimmy Butler, Nikola Jokic, and Tyrese Maxey. So shout out to the young god, the one that was promised. He's averaging 22, 4, and 5. In his last 9 games. I mean, he scored 144 points in his last 5 games without Joel Embiid. He is untouchable in a trade. I know we're going to trade Ben Simmons, but Tyrese Maxey is absolutely the point guard who was promised. It changes so much when you have a point guard who is willing to score, willing to put the team on his back, and is not scared to shoot. It makes everybody around him better. This team, we dropped a few games, but we're missing. He's the only starter we have for the last week and a half, because of COVID or injury or whatever. And I'm just really proud of how this team is playing. And a lot of that has to do with the young Tyrese Maxey. He's 21 years old, Bert. So I think the Sixers have something there with him.
He's got a bright future for sure, man. And I mean, those are some solid names that you threw up there too. So he's in good company.
1,000%. I think the Sixers will be fine. I wish Daryl Morey would stop holding this team hostage. He wants the world in the kitchen sink for Ben Simmons, and it's a joke, and I hate it.
Mhm.
I think he should be encouraged to move on from him. There's an interesting conspiracy. The Sixers had played the Sacramento Kings last night in Sacramento. The Sixers won, but maybe like 20 seconds left in the game, disgruntled Sacramento King Buddy Hield, who was actually in trade discussions with the Sixers for the last couple of years now. Apparently there was a deal for him this past offseason, not to the Sixers, to a different team that was supposedly done but got canceled because the incoming player failed a physical or failed something, and it never went through. So he doesn't want to be there either. Now everybody's like, yo, just trade Ben Simmons for Buddy Hield. Now, probably not the fairest of trades. I don't know if that works contractually. You probably want a little bit better player than Buddy Hield, but for me, I've been preaching addition by subtraction. I don't care about Ben Simmons' potential. We've seen what he's done. I would be more than happy to have Buddy Hield, who's one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA, come to these Sixers and come off the bench and play starters minute for us. But he had lifted up his shirt, walked right over to Doc, and I guess part of his lips weren't covered, and it sounded like he said, "Get me out of here, coach."
Oh shit!
And
You
Doc
love to
Rivers, who
see
didn't,
that drama, man.
I love it. And Doc Rivers, who did not cover his mouth, said, "I don't know, we'll see," and laughed it off, like kind of laughed, like, I don't know if he's going to get hit with tampering rules, but Buddy Hield coming to Philly would be an absolute win for us, and I think it would be a fair trade for the Kings. The Kings need a true point guard. De'Aaron Fox is not a true point guard. He's a scoring guard, but I think they need somebody a little bit better to facilitate, and they need better defense. And I think it's a win-win trade. And Ben Simmons wants to go to California anyway, so I'd rather ship him to the worst California team than one of the good ones. So
Yeah, no, you don't want to see him go away and get a title somewhere.
All right, so nobody chimed in with anything. So Corey and Mike are going head to head this week, and then Ty has the Washington football, the red hot Washington football team with the Senator Taylor Heineke. I'm riding with Tyrod Taylor and the Houston Texans, and you are going with the Chicago Bears, who will fire Matt Nagy, win or lose, after Thanksgiving, if you listen to any of the reports. So we will see. It'll be interesting next Tuesday for us. If any of that happens, because that'd be awesome. If Matt Nagy is the first head coach in 101 years to get fired from the Chicago Bears, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Bert, go take a spoonful of honey and get some rest, buddy. And
exactly what I'm gonna do, man.
All right, everybody, have a wonderful, safe, and happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time with your families. That's what it's all about. And until then, we will talk to you next week.